They told you that desire is dangerous. They told you it is a chain, a poison, a curse sent to trap you in endless hunger. From pulpits and thrones, they declared that only by killing desire could you be pure. And yet, Rumi whispers something scandalous across the centuries. He dares to say the opposite. Desire is not sin. Desire is the secret door. This is not an easy teaching to hear. Because if desire is not sin, then the world as you know it begins to tremble. Every sermon that told you to cut away your longing begins to crack. Every authority that declared your yearning unholy starts to lose its grip. The foundations of fear begin to shake. And maybe that is why this teaching was hidden, why it was called forbidden, why it was left in shadows for so many generations. Because once you hear it, you cannot go back to sleep. Rumi lived in a world where fire was feared and worshipped all at once. He knew that the same flame that devours can also give warmth. He saw that the same longing that tears the heart apart can also bring the heart to God. He says, "Do not confuse the fire with the house it burns. Do not confuse desire with the way you use it. The flame itself is innocent. It is the hand that holds it that decides whether it becomes destruction or illumination." Imagine for a moment that you had been told your whole life to fear water. They warned you it would drown you. They punished you for thirsting after it. And yet, your body aches for it every day. Would it be wise to deny water? Or would it be wiser to learn how to swim, how to drink, how to let it flow through you without drowning? This is how Rumi speaks of desire, not as an enemy to kill, but as a river to learn from. Listen to his voice. Desire is the language of the soul, he says. Every longing you feel is a letter sent from the beloved. When you ache, it is because the universe is knocking at your heart. When you burn, it is because the fire of the divine wants to be known. Your hunger is not shame. Your yearning is not weakness. It is the rope pulling you toward the truth. But what happens when you believe the lie that desire is sin? You turn your own body into a prison. You break yourself into pieces. You fight the very current meant to carry you home. You turn your greatest ally into your enemy. And then you wonder why you feel empty, why you feel dry, why you feel alone. Rumi says, "This is because you have been running from the voice of God that speaks through your own longing." He dares us to flip the script. Instead of strangling desire, listen to it. Instead of fearing the fire, step closer to it. Yes, it may burn. Yes, it may leave you trembling. But within that flame is the secret no one told you. Desire is not your fall. It is your ladder. It is the bridge across the abyss. It is the secret teaching you were never meant to hear. So when you feel that restless pulse inside your chest, do not call it evil. Do not call it sin. Call it what it truly is. It is the beloved whispering your name. It is eternity knocking on your door. It is the forbidden flame that was hidden because it sets you free. Imagine a bird born with wings, but told since its first breath that flying is a crime. Every time it spread its wings, it was struck. Every time it felt the urge to rise, it was shamed. What would become of that bird? It would forget its sky. It would learn to walk like a prisoner on the ground, and it would call its chains safety. This is what happens to us when we are told that desire is sin. From childhood, whispers of shame follow every spark of longing. You want too much, they say. You are greedy. You are weak. You must kill that hunger inside you. And so, you become a bird who forgets how to fly. You shrink your soul to fit into a cage that was never built for you. Rumi asks, why would God plant longing in your heart if it was meant to be your enemy? Why would the beloved give you thirst only to punish you for drinking? He says this clearly: desire is not a mistake. It is the compass of the soul. Without desire, you would not move. Without longing, you would not seek. Without hunger, you would never find the table of the beloved waiting for you. But fear is a powerful weapon. When rulers and priests declared desire a curse, they chained entire nations in silence. They made you mistrust your own heart. And when you mistrust your own heart, you give your power away. You become easy to control, easy to bend, easy to silence. Rumi's teaching is dangerous because it breaks these chains. He says, trust the pull inside you. It is not the voice of sin. It is the voice of the eternal. Think of your own life. How many times have you denied what you truly wanted because you were told it was wrong? How many times did you silence your heart because you feared judgment? And what happened each time? Did you find peace, or did you find emptiness? Did denying your desire bring you closer to God, or did it build a wall between you and the divine? Rumi says the greatest tragedy is not desire itself, but the war against it. He compares it to turning a river against itself. You dam it, you block it, you call it evil. But the river was meant to flow into the sea, and when it cannot, it floods, it destroys, it becomes chaos. The same desire that could have carried you becomes the flood that drowns you, not because it was sin, but because you never learned how to flow with it. And here is the forbidden part. Rumi whispers that every desire is holy when it is seen clearly. Even the desires you think are base or shameful carry within them the seed of the divine. To want love, to want beauty, to want touch, to want meaning. These are not curses. They are doors. If you walk through them with awareness, you find the beloved waiting at the end. So ask yourself, whose voice taught you that desire is sin? Was it God's? Or was it fear dressed as holiness? If it was God, then why does desire feel alive while shame feels dead? Why does longing make you move while guilt makes you freeze? The truth is already inside you. Rumi says you only need the courage to listen. Rumi tells us, do not fear the flame. Fire does not ask if it is good or evil. Fire simply burns. In the same way, desire does not ask permission to exist. It simply rises. What matters is how you hold it. In careless hands, fire devours a house. In wise hands, fire cooks bread, warms a family, lights a lamp in the dark. The same flame, two destinies. The same desire, two paths. Religion often taught us to extinguish the fire, to pour water on every spark before it could breathe. And yet, in this war against fire, humanity froze. We built prisons of ice inside our hearts. We called ourselves holy for killing the flame, but our eyes grew dull, our souls cold, our songs silent. Rumi's teaching is sharper. He says, learn to carry the fire. Do not drown it. Do not worship it blindly, but let it teach you. Desire is the torch that guides you through the labyrinth of existence. Without it, you would stumble in darkness. With it, you may still stumble, but at least you see the walls. At least you see the door. And what of water? Rumi often spoke of the river, the sea, the rain that falls from the sky. He says desire is like water, always moving, always seeking. A river that is blocked will flood and destroy. A river that is guided will nourish every field along its path. Your desire, too, seeks the sea. You can curse the river, or you can walk beside it, drinking as you go. So the question is not whether you have desire. The question is whether you burn with it blindly, or whether you let it light your way. The question is not whether you thirst. The question is whether you drink wisely, whether you learn to swim instead of drown. Think of your own longing. It may be for love, for meaning, for beauty, for creation, for connection. These desires are not mistakes. They are waters that want to flow, fires that want to burn. What makes them sacred or destructive is how you walk with them. And Rumi insists, when you walk with awareness, every desire becomes holy. Close your eyes for a moment. Think of the desire that you fear the most, the one you never speak aloud. Notice how it pulses, alive, in your chest. That is not sin. That is the beloved knocking. That is life itself moving through you. You do not need to kill it. You need to learn how to listen. Desire is fire. Desire is water. And you are the vessel. If you learn to carry it, it will not burn you. It will not drown you. It will lead you home. Rumi says, the greatest prison is not built of stone, but of masks. Every day, people wake and put on the face they believe the world will accept. A mask of strength to hide their weakness, a mask of purity to hide their fire, a mask of calm to hide their storm. And beneath these masks, desire waits, restless, alive, knocking against the walls we build. Why do we wear these masks? Because we are afraid. Afraid that if we showed the truth of our longing, the world would turn away. Afraid that our desires will be called dirty, selfish, sinful. So we bury them. We bury them under duty, under shame, under the heavy weight of what others expect from us. And yet, Rumi whispers, no burial is ever complete. The soul cannot be silenced forever. He tells us that hidden desires do not disappear. They become shadows that walk beside us. They slip into our words, into our choices, into the secret places of our dreams. The more we deny them, the louder they become. The more we hide them, the more they shape us in silence. Like seeds pressed under the soil, they wait, and when the time is right, they break through. Rumi does not condemn this breaking. He calls it revelation. He says that when the mask falls, when the hidden desire bursts forth, you finally meet yourself. It may frighten you at first. It may shock you. But it is the beginning of truth. The moment you stop pretending is the moment you begin to live. Think of how many times you have silenced your voice. How many times you said yes when your soul screamed no. How many times you smiled while your heart ached. Each time, another mask was added. Each time, another layer covered your desire. And now you wonder why you feel so far from yourself. Rumi's teaching is dangerous because it tells you to tear off the mask, to let your true desire breathe. He says, do not fear your hunger. Do not fear your thirst. They are not stains on your spirit. They are maps. They show you the path to the beloved. When you hide them, you hide the very key to your awakening. The mask may make you acceptable to the world, but it makes you a stranger to yourself. And Rumi insists, better to be rejected for your truth than embraced for your disguise. For when you live as a mask, you live as a ghost. But when you live as your true longing, you live as fire, as water, as light. So he dares you. Remove the mask. Let the hidden desire show its face. Do not call it sin. Call it the seed of God inside you. Call it the echo of eternity. Call it what it truly is. Life longing for itself through you. Rumi tells us that desire is not a pit pulling you downward, but a ladder reaching upward. Those who fear desire see only the bottom rungs. They see the lust for power, the hunger for possessions, the thirst for approval, and they say, look, desire leads only to ruin. But Rumi looks higher. he sees that the same energy which clings to gold can be lifted toward love. The same thirst that enslaves the body can awaken the soul. Every rung is the same wood. The question is, do you stop on the lower steps, or do you keep climbing? If you cling to the first rung, desire traps you. If you climb, desire carries you into the heavens. He says, even the lowest desire is not shameful. It is a beginning. The child reaches for candy, not because candy is holy, but because the impulse to reach is already there. That reaching, that moving, that stretching towards something beyond the self is the seed of every higher longing. Desire is the movement of the soul toward more. Think of your own life. Perhaps once you longed for beauty in another's eyes. Perhaps you burned for the touch of hands or the warmth of a voice, and maybe you called it sin. But Rumi says, even in this longing, the beloved hides. For is it not beauty itself that you crave? Is it not connection itself that you seek? Behind every desire for flesh is the longing for union. Behind every desire for wealth is the longing for abundance. Behind every desire for recognition is the longing to be truly seen. Desire is the mask. The beloved is the face behind it. He compares desire to music. At first, it is noise, clashing, chaotic. But if you listen more deeply, if you let the melody unfold, you find harmony. What you thought was just hunger for the world becomes a song of the soul calling you upward. The ladder of desire is not without risk. Many cling to the lower steps and never rise. Many mistake the mask for the face, the flame for the house it burns. But Rumi insists, the ladder is not your enemy. It is your path. You do not have to cut it down. You only have to keep climbing. So the next time desire rises in you, do not call it sin. Ask instead, what is this pointing me toward? What is the higher rung hidden inside this lower one? If you follow the thread, if you keep climbing, you will find that every desire leads to one desire, and that desire leads to God. And so he says, the longing that keeps you awake at night, the hunger that makes your heart restless, is not meant to shame you. It is meant to raise you. Do not kill it. Do not cling to the first rung. Climb. Rumi says that every longing in your heart is a letter written by the beloved. When you ache, it is not a curse, but a message. When you hunger, it is not weakness, but invitation. Desire is not random noise inside the body. It is the secret alphabet of God, a script written in fire across the soul. But most people never learn to read it. They are told to tear up the letters, to throw them into the fire, to pretend the words were never written. They are told, do not want, do not hunger, do not ache. And so they live as strangers to themselves, never realizing that every desire was a message meant for them alone. Rumi whispers, listen, do not silence your heart when it burns. Ask it what it is trying to say. For the thirst for love is not merely about another person. It is the beloved reminding you of the union that exists beyond flesh. The hunger for beauty is not about objects or faces. It is the beloved reminding you of the eternal radiance from which you were born. Even the desire for peace in a chaotic world is a letter from the beloved, asking you to return to the silence where all peace begins. Every desire, no matter how small, points to something greater. You want bread, but what you truly want is nourishment. You want touch, but what you truly want is connection. You want recognition, but what you truly want is to be seen by the one who created you. If you read deeply enough, every letter says the same thing. Come home. The tragedy is not desire itself, but our blindness to its meaning. Like illiterate wanderers, We hold letters in our hands and think them useless scraps of paper. We never stop to learn the alphabet, and so we miss the message. We think we are cursed by longing, when in truth we are being guided by it. Rumi tells us that to learn this language is to step into freedom. Once you see desire not as sin but as scripture, you stop fearing it. You stop fighting yourself. You begin to trust the movements of your own soul. You begin to understand that God does not speak only through books and sermons, but through your own ache, your own fire, your own restless hunger. So ask yourself, what is your deepest desire right now? Do not judge it. Do not silence it. Hold it in your hands as if it were a letter. Read it slowly. Look past the ink of the body to the message of the spirit. What is it pointing toward? What greater home is it calling you to? Desire is the alphabet of God. The more you read, the more you realize every word is the same. Love. Love in disguise, love in fragments, love hidden in thirst, love burning in hunger. Desire is not sin. It is the secret scripture written inside you. Rumi warns that the greatest chains are not the ones placed on you from the outside, but the ones you place on yourself when you resist your own longing. The world has taught you that freedom means killing desire, but this is the opposite of freedom. Freedom is not silence of the heart. Freedom is harmony with it. He says, imagine a river forced into a narrow cage of stone. It thrashes, it floods, it breaks the walls, it destroys everything in its path. Now imagine that same river allowed to flow, to meander, to carve valleys and nourish fields. Which river would you rather walk beside? Your desire is that river. Resisted, it destroys. Allowed, it becomes the very current that carries you to the sea. So many people live as prisoners because they do not understand this. They fight themselves day after day. They call every longing a betrayal. They lash at their own hearts with shame. They become both prisoner and jailer, fighting a war against their own blood. And then they wonder why they feel lifeless, why joy is far, why peace never arrives. Rumi says the cure is not suppression, but surrender. Not surrender in the sense of defeat, but surrender in the sense of flow. To accept your longing is to let the river flow. To listen to your desire is to hear the secret language of the beloved. To resist is to starve. To accept is to feast. Think about it. When you deny your deepest desire, do you feel more holy or do you feel more broken? When you resist what pulls your heart, do you grow or do you shrink? The truth is simple. Denial breeds emptiness. Acceptance breeds awakening. The mystic does not kill desire. He studies it. He listens to it. He lets it guide him. The mystic sees that every hunger, no matter how dark it may seem, carries a lantern within it. If you are brave enough to step closer, you will see that even the shadows are glowing. The forbidden teaching is this: the prison you feel is not built by desire. It is built by your refusal to embrace it. The lock is not on the door. The lock is in your mind, and the key is already in your hand. So Rumi whispers, stop fighting the river, stop caging the fire. Let it move, let it burn, let it carry you. The beloved has hidden a secret in every longing. If you dare to stop resisting, you will find that desire is not your jailer, but your guide. Rumi says, do not treat desire as an enemy to conquer, but as a partner to dance with. Life is not a battlefield where you must kill every impulse, but a hall where the music of the soul is always playing. Desire is that rhythm, pulsing through your veins, asking you to move, to sway, to step into the mystery. But most people are afraid of this dance. They sit against the wall with folded arms, judging the music, condemning the beat, calling it sinful. And yet, their feet still tap beneath the table, their hearts still pound with the hidden urge to join. Rumi whispers, "You cannot silence music by pretending not to hear it. The dance continues whether you resist it or not. The only question is, will you join it consciously, or will you be dragged across the floor by a song you refuse to admit is playing?" He tells us that every desire is a partner reaching out a hand. When longing calls, it is not a chain pulling you down. It is an invitation. Will you step forward? Will you learn the steps? The mystic does not fight the rhythm. He lets it carry him. He becomes a dancer, moving in harmony with the divine. Think of your own life. How many times did you feel desire rise and quickly push it down, fearing what it might mean? And yet, later, you felt it return, stronger, louder, undeniable. That is because desire is persistent. It is the drumbeat of existence. To resist it is to resist life itself. Rumi dares us to stop resisting and instead to move, to see desire not as a temptation, but as choreography written by God. Every longing, every ache, every hunger is part of the divine dance. When you step into it with awareness, you are not consumed by it. You are carried by it. He says, "The beloved dances with us through desire." When you yearn, it is God spinning you in the mystery. When you ache, it is God pulling you closer. When you burn, it is God setting the floor alight with passion. To deny desire is to refuse the dance. To embrace it is to become music itself. Close your eyes. Imagine the drumbeat of your own heart. That is the rhythm of the universe. That is the song of desire. Let it move you. Let it carry you. Do not stand against the wall any longer. Join the dance. For the dance itself is the prayer. The dance itself is the offering. The dance itself is the way home. Rumi was not afraid of what others called forbidden. He looked at the desires the world condemned, the hungers whispered about only in shadows, and he did not flinch. He said, "Even here the beloved hides. Even here is a doorway. What you call sin may simply be a misunderstood longing wearing the wrong face. The danger of labeling desire as evil is that you never look deeply into it. You see only the surface, only the mask, and you run. But Rumi insists, if you dare to step closer, if you dare to peel away the mask, you will find that even the forbidden longing carries within it a fragment of the divine. The desire for flesh hides the desire for union. The desire for wealth hides the desire for abundance. The desire for power hides the desire to awaken your buried strength. Think of this. If you see a child clutching at fire, you do not punish the child for wanting warmth. You simply guide the child to use the fire wisely. In the same way, Rumi says the answer is not to kill forbidden desire, but to guide it, to listen to it, to find the higher current running through it. For even the darkest longing has light hidden at its core. Society teaches us to shame these desires. It casts them into shadow, and in shadow they grow twisted, destructive, consuming. But shame is the poison, not desire itself. Rumi dares us to remove the poison by bringing these desires into light. Look at them. Name them. Do not run. Do not bury them. For when you see clearly, the mask dissolves, and the truth beneath it is revealed. He tells us that the path of the mystic is not safe. It does not hide from darkness. It walks into it with a lantern. It walks into the forbidden not to indulge blindly, but to uncover the hidden message beneath. The mystic sees that the forbidden is often just the sacred in disguise. So ask yourself, what desire do you fear the most? Which longing have you buried so deep that you refuse to even name it? What if that very longing, the one you are most ashamed of, is the letter from God you have refused to read? What if the door you fear to open is the very door that leads you home? Rumi whispers, "Do not be afraid. The forbidden is only forbidden because it carries the power to set you free. And freedom has always frightened those who would rather control you. Desire is not sin. Even the forbidden desire is not sin. It is a mirror. Look into it, and you may see the beloved staring back." Rumi says, desire is not only a guide, it is the fuel that burns away the old self. Those who fear desire fear the very fire that could free them. They stand shivering in the dark, afraid of the flame, never realizing that the fire was sent to consume their chains, not their soul. Every longing you feel is a spark. At first, it flickers weakly, but if you let it breathe, it grows into a blaze. And this blaze does not simply give you warmth. It burns down the walls you have built around yourself. It melts the masks you have worn for so long. It turns the false identity to ash, leaving behind only the raw essence of who you truly are. This is why desire feels dangerous. Because it is. Not dangerous to your soul, but dangerous to your illusions. Dangerous to the small self you cling to. Dangerous to the lies you have been told. Dangerous to the prisons of shame that have kept you numb. When desire rises, it shakes you awake. It tears the roof off your comfort. It says, "You were not born to live half alive. You were born to burn." Think of your own hunger. Perhaps you have felt the ache for love so strongly that it broke you open. Perhaps you have desired truth so fiercely that you could no longer accept lies. Perhaps you have longed for freedom so deeply that every cage became unbearable. This is not sin. This is transformation. The fire of desire is meant to break you, so that you can be remade. Rumi compares the soul to iron placed in the forge. Cold iron cannot bend, cannot change, cannot be shaped into something greater. But when placed in fire, it softens, it glows, it becomes pliable, ready to be transformed into a sword, into a key, into an instrument of beauty. Desire is that fire. Without it, you remain rigid. With it, you become alive. The mystic does not fear the burning. He steps into it. He knows that what burns away is not his essence, but his prison. He says, "Let the fire take what is false. Let it consume what is small." When the flames die down, what remains is not ash, but the diamond hidden inside. So the next time you feel the fire of longing, do not run. Step closer. Let it burn what must be burned. Let it strip away what you no longer need. For this fire is not here to destroy you. It is here to reveal you. And when the smoke clears, you will see that desire was never sin. It was the forge of your transformation. Rumi says, "Beneath every longing hides one longing. Beneath every thirst hides one thirst. Beneath every hunger hides one hunger." You think you want many things, but in truth, all your desires are rivers flowing to the same sea. That sea is the beloved. That sea is God. Look closely. You hunger for bread, but what you truly want is to be nourished. You thirst for wine, but what you truly want is to feel joy overflowing. You ache for touch, but what you truly want is to be held in oneness. You long for recognition, but what you truly want is to be seen by the eyes of eternity. Every desire is only a mask. Behind it, always, the face of the beloved. This is why Rumi calls desire holy, because even when it seems earthly, even when it looks small, it is secretly pointing upward. It is an arrow disguised as appetite. It is a mirror that, if you look deeply enough, reflects the infinite. Imagine for a moment that your soul is a reed flute, and desire is the breath moving through it. every sound, no matter how broken, no matter how soft, is really the voice of the beloved playing through you. To call desire sin is to accuse the breath of being false. But Rumi says, listen carefully. Even in your lowest notes, it is God who plays. Think of your own life. How many times have you thought you wanted one thing, only to realize later that what you sought was something deeper? You wanted wealth, but what you truly sought was freedom. You wanted beauty, but what you truly sought was the eternal radiance shining behind every face. You wanted love, but what you truly sought was the end of separation. The surface shifts, but the root is always the same. The tragedy is not desire. The tragedy is mistaking the mask for the face, the shadow for the source. When you cling to the surface, you drown in craving. But when you follow the thread deeper, every desire becomes a rope leading you home. Rumi dares us to listen with new ears. He says, your longing is not a curse to be killed. It is a compass pointing to the one. Every desire is a teacher, every hunger a guide, every ache a bridge. To deny them is to deny the path. To follow them with awareness is to walk straight into the arms of the beloved. So he whispers, do not fear your desire. Follow it to its root. Let every small hunger carry you to the great feast. Let every small thirst carry you to the eternal wine. For in truth, there is only one desire, the desire to return to the source, the desire to remember that you were never separate. Rumi says, do not curse the garden within you. Every flower of longing, every vine of hunger, every restless root that pushes through the soil of your heart is planted with purpose. You were not given desire to be punished by it. You were given desire to be guided by it. The garden is not sin. The garden is the path. Think of all that we have uncovered. The flame of desire is not here to destroy, but to illuminate. The river of longing is not here to drown you, but to carry you to the sea. The mask of forbidden hunger is not here to shame you, but to reveal what is hidden beneath. And all the countless desires you thought were scattered are in truth branches of one tree, roots of one seed, voices of one beloved calling you home. So when you feel desire rising, do not rush to silence it. Sit with it. Listen. Ask what it is pointing toward. The hunger for touch may lead you to discover the oneness of the soul. The thirst for beauty may lead you to discover the radiance of creation. The longing for freedom may lead you to discover that you were never bound. Every ache is a messenger. Every pulse is a letter. Every fire is an invitation. Rumi says, desire is not sin. Sin is forgetting who you are. Sin is killing the music in your chest. Sin is walking through life deaf to the voice that sings through your longing. Desire is the rope that pulls you upward. The forbidden teaching is this: you were never meant to kill your fire. You were meant to carry it as your lantern through the night. And when the final mask falls, when you see clearly, you will know that desire has been the beloved's hand all along, guiding you, shaping you, breaking you, remaking you. You will realize that every thirst was holy, every hunger sacred, every ache a step on the journey. And then you will laugh, as Rumi laughed, knowing that what you once feared was always your salvation. So, beloved seeker, if these words touched your heart, if they stirred something sleeping inside you, let this moment not pass in silence. In the spirit of Rumi, I invite you. Share your voice, leave your reflection, let your desire for truth ripple outward. Subscribe if your soul longs for more of this journey. Offer a like as a candle of gratitude. so that this fire may spread to others still searching in the dark. Remember, desire is not sin. Desire is the beloved's whisper, and it has always been calling you home.